Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's Mr. Reality, joined by psychic medium Liz Cross. Liz, I wanted to issue a warning to anybody that suffers for triggers, and we're going to talk about murder and strangling and rape. So if you're not a fan of those things, and God, I hope you're not, be careful listening to this one because it might get dark.
Ooh, thanks for that warning. How are you?
I am okay. I'm a little concerned. We'll see. This is a rapist, serial killer, burglar, former police officer Joseph James D'Angelo, known as the Golden State Killer, was apprehended a few years back. And I wanted to see if we could pull him in and just find out what ticks in a mind like that. Because usually we do serial killers in the afterlife, but I'd like to do one that's still living and see how that mental process changes.
Ooh, yes, please. Me too. All right, what would you like to know? I've connected to him.
So careful. What emotions did you experience during and after the first crime you committed?
What emotions did you experience during? He's like wanting to tell us a story here. He's going, first, let's start at the beginning. I'm like, okay, what was the beginning? He was raped repeatedly as a child. Okay, who
Ugh.
did this to you? Multiple males. He's telling me. Okay, and what happened there? And he just was. He couldn't find a way out of this black hole. Okay, when did you start um this crime spree? Because it wasn't just the killing, it was also the burglary and all this other stuff. Which came first? What was the first crime you committed? Theft. Okay. So you committed theft. Yes. And how did you feel about that? Ooh, he's saying it was exciting to know that I got away with it. How old were you? He was about 10 years old. And what
Wow.
did you steal? He stole some sweets, some candy. And then did you continue to do that? No. But he likes that element of I'm getting away with something that you know nothing about. Okay. That was very exciting to him. Now what about when did you decide to start targeting people? What made you do this? So I feel like when he was a teenager, how old were you? About 17 years old, he's telling me, I decided I wanted to hurt women.
How did he select people to become victims? Was it just opportunity crimes or did he have a type?
How did you select people? He would scope out their houses. He would scope them out. And did they know? No, they had no idea. Some he did get caught scoping people out a couple of times and he would quickly move on. Did you have a certain type? In the beginning, he's telling me, yes, I did have a certain type. He particularly liked mothers. He particularly liked women that had children, young children. And I'm saying, why? What is it about women with young children that you were fascinated with? Because he wanted to destroy their lives. Mm. Why did you want to destroy their lives? Because they destroyed mine. Okay. What was it about women? Did you have a good relationship with your mother? No, he hates his mother, absolutely despises her. Okay. Why? Because she made him do it. So, what do you mean she made you do it? She made you kill these women? No, he's going back into his childhood now. Okay. And he's saying his mother made him participate in this molestation. Was your mother involved as well? No, but she allowed them to do this to me.
Did he have remorse after, let's say, the rape or the killing?
Did you have any remorse afterwards? No, it would make him want to do it more. So, what were your emotions as you were scoping out a house? It was very driven. You know when you focus on something really strongly, like I can feel it in my heart, like you're fixated, you're focused, okay? And I'm saying, yes, what tell me more about it? He was just this is what he had to do. He was mentally preparing himself. How is he going to get in? He's watching their mannerisms. Are they going to fight back? Do they look like the type of people that would fight back? They look vulnerable. How, and what other things were you looking at? How he could enter. And he would then start fantasizing about the rape. Okay. And I'm saying that, and what about that? How did that make you feel? Now that started getting him excited. He's saying, I started exciting. My heart was pumping. My blood is pumping through my body. And it was just, he became fixated. So this is a compulsive behavior. Yes. So at the time, yes, very compulsive. Could you stop yourself? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So you would have these compulsive urges and you gave in to them. He had to give in to them. He says, I had to do this.
Was he controlled by a dark entity that was making him do these things, or was he acting out of a karmic responsibility?
That is an excellent question. He has a tip jar down below in the comments, folks. Um, Were you controlled by a dark entity? No, he believes he was controlled. This is his own personal thoughts, feelings, and opinions by his own consciousness. So let's ask somebody. I feel like his mother's in spirit. I have his mother coming forward here now. Was he controlled by a dark entity? No, no. And there's a lot of sadness with his mom as I connect to her. Like I screwed up his life, right? Do you regret?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you regret it? She goes, of course I regret it. But what was I do? She was very vulnerable. Were you a drug addict or anything like that? No, but she was in a very abusive situation. She was just trying to survive.
And was it his father that forced his mother into coercing him into depraved acts?
Was it the father that was coercing? No, she volunteered.
Was there a, did they do this other times in other lifetimes, and this is a play that's playing out over and over again?
Ooh, did you do this in other times? Once before was that. So this is a similar scenario that's been played out before in a previous lifetime. I feel actually the last lifetime. And this is something that we are trying to resolve.
And so, this question, I guess, for his mother, what penance or redemption is she doing to rehabilitate her soul after perpetrating this and being directly or indirectly responsible for the deaths and pain of all these other women?
What recompense are you trying to fix? They have to do it again. This has got to be resolved. What is the lesson behind this? It's about strength in the face of adversity. And I'm saying, guys, you guys have got to stop this because this is too much, right? You're creating a serial killer. Will he be a serial killer in the next life? Most probably. Most probably, she's telling me this is something that he has to resolve. And I'm saying, okay, the reason I wanted to do this probe is I wanted to find out how he managed to stop himself and override this compulsion or this compulsive behavior. So let's ask him. Um, when did you decide to stop? Was it in 19? I think the date was 1987. Is that correct?
I'm not sure what day year it is. I think it's a ways back.
Okay. What made you stop? Because he was driving himself crazy. What do you mean you were driving yourself crazy? With these obsessive compulsive thoughts. And how did you manage to stop this? I had no choice. If I wanted to live, I had to stop. Did you feel like you were on the verge of being caught? He says, I knew I was going to be caught. That's why I stopped. So you didn't stop because of regret or remorse. No, he stopped out of the fear of being caught. But this was overtaking his life. One, two, three, four. It was never enough, right? Even one a day was becoming not enough. Now, we know that you killed X amount, and I can't remember the number. I'm so sorry, but it's just as well that I don't actually know, because the less I know, the more pure the information is. Um, you says it's, you committed 13. No, he committed way more than that. 13 murders. Did you murder children? He murdered a few children. Okay. And what about the 13 murders? How many would you say? He says it's more like 35. Did you do this all in California? No. There were some other things that he did, and I feel like he must have traveled to Mexico. He's telling me at one point, and he committed burglary and rapes in Mexico. I'm like, man, you're lucky you made it out alive there, because they'll just kill you. They're not going to be doing the American thing of arresting people. They're going to kill you. Um, but he never got caught. He's showing me Texas as well. He did travel a bit. There was a point, and I'm saying, why did you travel? There was a short period of travel. He thought getting away from the area would make him less, less compulsive. But that didn't work either. So he quickly came home. And did you continue to kill after you came home? He knew he had a disease. He's telling me, I had a disease. And I'm saying, well, how did you cure it? Like, how did you fix this? He's telling me he had to basically chain himself up in a room
Did
and
he have
fight
an
energy.
accomplice?
Hmm. Did you have an accomplice? No.
Did he know right from wrong?
Did you know right from wrong? Yes.
And so why couldn't you turn away from this compulsion? And I mean, I guess, what do you think's going to happen to you when you die for all the killings that you've done and the rapes and burglaries that you've done?
Ooh, what do you think's going to happen to you when you die? He thinks he's going to burn in hell. Okay. What is interesting is, if you look at the screen, there's a 222. I get this all the time. 222, 222. Everything's 222 for me. Um, why do you think you're going to burn in hell? Because I deserve to. Do
Can
you
we can we
actually?
make a recommendation for that to happen to someone up high if we could, maybe? Can we call
Let's
above and say, "Can you arrange that for him?"
can oh, that's a good question. Like, do we have that power here? Because even though we weren't directly associated with the persons, the victims, it still makes us angry, right? It's still, oh, you just want to strangle them, right? But can we do that? No, we don't have that power. Will he burn in hell? No, he will not. What will happen? He will go back up to the spirit world, and he will learn that the lessons that he was supposed to get over by being, severely abused, they never happened. Did you ever like reconnect with your emotions? No, he's completely emotionless, numb. Is that why you were excited? Like, was that the only thing that brought about those emotions? At the time, he says yes. At the time, definitely. Other than that, he was completely emotionless. And this was the only thing that made him feel uh, anything in his body at all. He was not happy. He was not sad. Day to day, completely disconnected. It was like he was dead behind his eyes. He's telling me this.
Is
And
that a mechanical brain wiring, or is that a karmic disconnect, or is that a chakra disconnect, or all of the above?
hmm, is that a mechanical? Well, he won't know. Let's ask Freud. Is that a mechanical brain wiring? Yes, it's a brain wiring issue. It's completely severed from dipping down into any emotions in the subconscious, the chakras, anything like that. And it's like the brain connections stay firmly in the brain. So he was so traumatized in his childhood that it's like his brain connections just stayed in the brain, even though we know there was brain connections all over the body because he has to function. But as far as like those emotional connections around the body, no, completely shut off. And so it would excite his brain by doing these, even plotting and planning. It would excite his brain. But that was it. It didn't really, it didn't really do it for him.
All right. Well, Mr. D'Angelo,
Oh my God. Right. But the thing is, we have to understand that everybody has a role to play on the earth plane. And he played that role. He knew that. What are you doing in jail? He's just staring at the wall. Do you go outside? Yes, he does. Are you in solitary confinement? No, I feel like he interacts with other prisoners, but there must be like an elderly wing. I've never heard of this, but I think there's an elderly wing, and they put the prisoners that are elderly together. Do you have friends in prison? A couple. Do you feel like you've ever managed to reconnect? No. Why did you get married and have children? Like what was that about? He needed a cover up. See, this is very, very typical of somebody who is doing all this stuff behind the scenes, right? And in order to make themselves and to take suspicion away from themselves, what do? They get married, they have children, they're hiding behind this family life, this good family man. But I'm saying to him, why did you become a cop? Because he wanted the knowledge. What was it, the knowledge? What do you mean by that? He wanted to learn how to break in to homes. That was what was the driving force of him being a cop. Do you think you were a good cop? No, because he wasn't interested in being a cop. He was only interested in learning how to break in.
well, don't give cops a bad name just from one rotten, disgusting, deplorable egg.
Right, right. Don't give cops a bad name. No, I mean most cops are good, you know. But there's always a bad egg somewhere, right? And he was. Did you enjoy being a police officer? No, he did not enjoy that at all. He hated it. But it was necessary to know how the evidence gathering worked, how the breaking and entering. Did you learn your surveillance skills from being a cop? Mostly. You learned how to do surveillance, and also, were you an officer to just hide behind the uniform? Yes, he was. So there was a point also where he could use the fact that he was a cop or is a cop to hide behind that uniform, and that is also to remove that suspicion, like especially back then, like who could suspect that somebody who works for the community is doing something so hideous. And so this was his life was really designed around this targeting and raping and killing. How did you feel afterwards? He felt empty. So what tell us about that? What do you mean about you felt empty afterwards? It wasn't enough. It didn't fix the problem. So whatever problem he was trying to fix, which is the reconnecting of his emotions, right? It didn't work. So therefore he had to do more and more and more. And he realized this was not going to fix his problem. Whoa.
All right.
There you go. All right. So we'll stop this one here. Thanks everyone for listening. Don't forget psychiclizcross.com, patreon.com/remote viewing and beyond. And Mr. Reality has a tip jar down below. Thank you.